Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to, cut through the noise and really get into the insights from the sources you care about.
Exactly.
Today, we're looking at international relations. Specifically, a pretty surprising comment, actually, from an official statement. It's about how Russia reacted, or, well, didn't react, to some U.S. policies.
Right.
Our mission really is just to unpack what this one observation tells us about the bigger picture, the global dynamics that are often, let's face it, kind of murky.
Yeah. And it's so important to look past just the actions themselves. How are they actually perceived by the country they're aimed at? That's key.
Absolutely.
And this specific bit of info, it gives us a unique window. It shows how sometimes these big pressure tactics might just be met with, well, indifference. And that tells you a lot.
Okay, so let's dig into that. The source we're looking at points to this really eyebrow-raising claim.
Yeah.
It's from an official, reportedly involved back in the Trump administration years. And they said that Russia, during that time, basically didn't care, that's the quote, didn't care about two specific things: weapons going to Ukraine and the threat of U.S. tariffs.
Which sounds odd, right? On the surface.
Totally counterintuitive. I mean, weapons, tariffs, those are usually seen as pretty heavy-duty tools in the diplomatic toolbox,
Yeah.
significant levers. So this idea they didn't care, what could that actually mean for how we understand pressure points?
Well, it's fascinating. It's not just the indifference itself, assuming it's accurately reported, of course. It's what it hints at about Russia's own strategic thinking, their calculus.
Okay.
I mean, if Moscow genuinely seemed unfazed by arms for Ukraine or these economic threats, it could mean a few things. Maybe they saw them as, I don't know, limited moves, short-term plays, not some big fundamental shift in U.S. strategy long-term.
Ah, so like political theater almost. Or maybe not fundamental enough to worry about.
Possibly. Or perhaps they viewed it more like a test of their own resolve, and decided, okay, we'll absorb this hit, we'll take it to show we're not backing down. Signal their own strength.
So it's less about the tool itself and more about how the target nation reads the situation, reads the intent, the staying power, and what else is going on for them.
Exactly right. It forces you to consider that their risk assessment, their priorities, might be totally different from what we assume from the outside.
Right.
For instance, maybe Russia's main focus was overwhelmingly internal political stability at home, or maybe maintaining what they see as their sphere of influence or securing resources long term. Things where perhaps short-term tariffs just didn't carry the same weight we'd expect.
Huh. Less immediate impact compared to bigger strategic goal.
Could be. Or maybe they felt they had alternatives lined up already. Other military suppliers, other economic partners, ways to lessen the sting of whatever the U.S. was doing.
Which then leads to the big question, doesn't it? If those tools, the ones we think are powerful, were reportedly kind of shrugged off, then what actually does work? What are the real levers in these super complex situations?
Yeah.
That really changes how you look at applying international pressure. It makes you think, okay, if their perception is so critical, how do we even get better at figuring out what that perception is? Instead of just, assuming they see it the way we do.
Well, it definitely points to needing much deeper intelligence, doesn't it? And real cultural understanding, nuance.
Yeah.
Because sometimes what we think is a major deterrent, maybe from their side it looks like posturing. Or worse, maybe it's something they can use domestically rally support against this supposed external aggression. So a reported lack of concern about these specific actions doesn't automatically mean they weren't concerned about anything at all. It might just mean they reassess what real pressure looked like in that specific context for them. It just highlights how multi-layered this all is. It's psychology, it's long-term games, just as much as it is about immediate economics or military stuff.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive into just one official's comment, it really underlines a key point. Even the tools we think are strong, like military aid or tariffs, they don't always land the way we expect. Especially the other side has dug in its heels strategically.
Context is everything.
Definitely. So here's something to think about. If those traditional pressures didn't seem effective in this case, as reported, what does that really tell you about the ongoing challenges for diplomacy? And maybe more importantly, what hidden factors, the less obvious things, might actually be driving the big decisions on the world stage? Something for you to ponder.